an image is fine. Today I'm gonna mainly talk and show, and it will all be around yh⁴, which is the collection I talked a lot about already, and which is a node to nature's beauty. And that's my main goal with my artistic journey, to portray these things that I love and that inspire me to continue creating, and not only to continue creating, because mainly creating inspires me to continue this life mainly. It is like my motto to, yeah, to have things to do and to create and to get more and more to the point that I want to express. And this collection is really about that, because my main wish is to like portray the beauty of nature and of the world we're living in like an exotic way, and in the and in like a kind of fantasy and different way. So yeah, I was just recording like some hours ago a session in Blender that I started creating. It will possibly end up being a piece for yh⁴. I started it out of an AI, um, that I made with a software, and I will show that. Before that, I want to show you. I will share the screen. I will also share the audio of the screen. I think it's loading, so I'll wait for it because I can't see. Please, if someone's in, please tell me in the chat if you can see the screen, because yeah, there it goes. Well, I hope you can see. Before starting to show, okay, great, thank you, Nate. Before starting to show the main thing that I'm going to show, which is this session creating in Blender, I will show some pieces, two pieces that I created during these days, which are not for yh⁴, but I wanted to show you, because they're really connected and related to the things that I've been talking and covering during these sessions. Like, usually the things that I talk about and that go around my head, usually they are like very portrayed in the things that I create, like unintentionally. And I created this one, which is called that's not the name, but it's just like a still image. But I think that I've been talking a lot about like electricity and how it is all connected and how we're all connected. And this piece for me that I made like the other day just for fun, I feel like it's really related to that. I feel like it's like a symbiotic explosion of electricity where there's a lot of creatures and stuff. But for me, it's really related to this that I was talking about here and during my sessions, and and I also been talking with my friends, and I think that it's mainly that, like this electricity that we are all connected by, and so yeah, I really like the outcome, um, and I really like how it looks, and I think it portrays like unintentionally. It's crazy for me how usually my pieces like translate the things that I'm feeling and the things that I have in my head, and they're portrayed. I know that they're portrayed in a kind of abstract way, but after I do it, I can start like recognizing what the piece means, and for me, this definitely means this, like this electricity that is connected between us all, and which I think it's really inspiring. So yeah, I wanted to show you that one, and I want to show another one that I listed today. Um, which is called, yeah, it was this piece which didn't have sound. And I want to show how like the sound really changes things, because this one which doesn't have sound and the one that I did today which does have sound, I really like the how the sound ended up being. So I want to show you. I'm sorry for all the amount of files that I have here. Is a disaster amount. I'm honestly like really disorganized with this stuff. I will show you inside of the marketplace, which is kind of cool also to show these tools that I use in this Web3 um, platforms, which are really useful to me. This was with the music. I hope that you can hear correctly. Yeah, I actually really like how it ended up being. I started a collection with it that it's called Mechanical Symbiosis, and the piece is called Dreaming Peroxide. And yeah, usually my pieces, it's all about like um, symbiotic like creatures connecting between each other. And this whole collection that I will do is about like all mechanical and mecha stuff, which yeah, I really love. But it's all like a parallel thing to yh⁴. And now I will start. Thank you, Dwayne. I'm glad that you like the music. Yeah, I really like the music too. In some pieces, I usually do like only like ambient to follow the piece, and sometimes I decide to do like a main melody, which is really strong. And sometimes I don't want to do that because it's like really music driven. But in this piece, I decided to do this melody, so it's kind of music driven. I feel like the piece when you see it and hear it. But yeah, I really like the outcome, so I wanted to show you. I'm glad that you like it. And now I will show this video. um, it's like the whole session, and I haven't cropped anything because I didn't have the time. Actually, in this session that I'm doing right now, I was gonna do live what I did like 2 hours ago, but I decided to do it the before the session, before doing it live, because I felt like if I was creating live this piece, which I wanted to be like kind of focused on, I wouldn't be able to comment so much on the piece and on the things that I was doing. So I decided to start it before, and now I will play the video and I will like try to show you like the important moments in which I really made some improvement. The piece is this one. It's of course not finished, but I started like 2 hours ago this, and now I have it recorded, the video in which I made all this. This is the scenery. Uh, this is okay. No, it's not there, but yeah, this is the scenery that I created. It possibly took me like an hour and a half or two. I kind of made it like honestly, kind of in a rush, not in a rush, but not as slow as I usually work, because I knew that I was gonna show you this process, so I wanted to be kind of as dynamic as possible. So yeah, I'm gonna show it to you. Let's go to videos, which are here, and this is the video. It seems like it was recording audio, so I will take it out. Okay, this image that you can see there, It's an image that I made with DALI 2, which is an AI platform, which is really cool. Makes this like real looking like images, which is amazing. Um, so I started out with this object. I wanted to recreate this object that it's like kind of a golden ratio and like an ammonite inspired um, creature token or object. I don't know. I remember that when I did the prompt, I answered like an object that was an ancient object that was found under the sand and had this golden ratio movement and like an ammonite. I've been making a big research on ammonites, which are like super prehistoric creatures that lived all around the world. Maybe one of the first creatures to uh, to ever lived in this world, or at least that's what they tell us. I don't really know, but it's really interesting. It was like this um, human-sized creatures, like big jellyfishes, and they were really beautiful, and they had this spiraling shape, which, as I was talking with Caroline the other day, it's really amazing how the creatures from the underwater, and not only from underwater, got these like spiraling shapes, which are reminiscent to the shapes that the water do with its movement, and it's really amazing to me. And it got stuck in my head, and I remember that I did these AIs before, so I decided to start a piece with this concept. Right now I am like extruding the plane. This is a way of creating that I usually use for creating like it's for modeling, that it's starting with a plane. um, yeah, and now I started sculpting the thing, and I try to do like these creases, and I try to make it organic. I hope that you can see well this video. I'm gonna check in the chat. Okay, nothing's going on, so yeah, I guess it's fine. Anything that you want to ask or anything that you want to add, you're welcome to do it, but it's fine if not, of course. Yeah, now I'm giving like this organic feeling to the shape. Um, Not that important or relevant, so I'm gonna skip these things. I was not even sure what I was doing right now, um, to be honest. Like, and that's usually how I create. I just go ahead and see what happens in the process, which is a way of creating that I really enjoy. Like just being free and having no known direction, and I just start recognizing the ways and in which the piece that I'm making communicates to me and tells me like where to go. It's usually like really about being connected with your intuition. So yeah, I started with the shaders. I tried to replicate the kind of way that the colors were in this AI that I made. They're pretty beautiful, those colors, like sand and a watercolor with this green and bluish color. It's beautiful. So I did those textures. I started to make the sand, which I made it like by sculpting it. And there, okay. I added the sand texture, which is beautiful. There's a way of creating textures in 3D, which is procedural, it's called. It's all procedural, and you gotta start connecting nodes with different nodes, and you start creating these textures. And I love to do that, but it's a really long process. So for this session I mainly use materials which were directly inside of like presets, which are really cool too. So I added like this golden and this sand and the water. I did make it procedural because it was really easy. And yeah, I had this object and I really didn't know what to do. I think after this I decided like to add like more sand. I added this HDRI, which the HDRI in 3D, um, it's not like about the background. You can use it as a background, but what it mainly is, it is about the reflections. It's like a 3D environment which is reflecting on the objects that you have. So for instance, if you have like a 3D environment that is at night and with like moonlight, the objects will be like reflected with this moonlight and more dark scene. And if you got this scene which is like more with sunlight and stuff, uh, it will be reflected on it. It's a really cool way of uh, of lighting a 3D scene, and really used and useful. So yeah, I started creating the scenery, as it will possibly be a piece for yh⁴, which I'm not sure because actually, as I said, I made it like kind of quickly to show you how it's a process of creating. I will have to work it much more because my pieces for yh⁴, I want them to be like really uh, complex and yeah, like to have a lot of time reflecting on it and on each detail. I want it to be like really detailed. um, so yeah, I started adding the water. I think that now I wanted to show you this trick that I really use, which is really cool, which is called dynamic paint, and is a way of creating like a real-time water simulations in Blender. There's a lot of ways of create like water simulations, but this one is really easy, straightforward, and it looks amazing. Um, so yeah, I think I was trying to show you how I did this. Um, but after it, because it seems like now right now I'm sculpting like it would be like the creature for the piece. um, it's like a kind of some kind of fish, or dragonfly fish or something. There I'm sculpting. I already showed the way in which I sculpt, and it's really interesting. Now I'm discovering that it might have a face, but it's kind of hard for me to add faces and stuff. I'm not that good with like the anatomy of things. I don't really understand things that way. So, but I actually like the way that this one ended. So this will be like the main creature, like living creature, of the piece. And now I'm adding like a curve modifier, which is a modifier that I usually use, which is used like to create this exact thing that you're seeing right now. It's cool because the thing like follows the, not only goes into the curve movement, but also follows like the movement of the curve. So yeah, it's really cool to make this. Then I would animate it, of course, and there will be like this creature flying and swimming uh, around the scenery. So yeah, I started adding these things. I added this sculpt that I did some time ago. It was not on purpose, but when I added it, it seemed like it went well with the piece. I'm gonna check the chat for a second to check if everything's fine. Okay, great, it is. I hope that this is kind of interesting. This is like my process usually, creating something. Uh, I'm glad that I recorded it before. Last session I kind of showed the way in which I created, but I was like really in a hurry because I had to like in half an hour sculpt something and stuff, and usually there's a lot of trial and error for me in creating these pieces. Of course there's a lot of using the error as a tool, because I'm not like so much I don't know much about the technical things, like technical specific things, I'm sorry, of the 3D software. So I really use these errors in my favor, which I think is a really good tool for creating um, in any way, like using errors in your favor. It's really cool, but also you gotta be used to like trying something and deleting it, and there's a lot of times in which I create a whole piece. I'm like hours creating something, and then I see it and I don't like it and I erase it completely. um, and I think that that's like really normal, and mm, this is all about like enjoying the process of creating. At least that's how I experienced this. Even when I like when I it had a really interesting approach when I started creating 3D stuff, because I wasn't making money off it, or I wasn't like working with it. I was mainly doing other stuff, maybe with music, and I might be like working with music. So when I started creating 3D, it was like from a different perspective, like not thinking about the outcome, just having fun with it. And that's something that I really wanna keep on having in my soul, and while I'm creating, like in the moment, in the process of creating, I just wanna be there, uh, not thinking about what can I do with this piece, where it can go, and stuff, because that's when you when at least when I lose the fun part, which is just like having a lot of fun with the process. So yeah, right now, like the scenery that I'm creating, it's taking more shape. There's more elements to it. A lot of times, like I try this kind of stuff and I see how it goes there, and I tried, and I might leave it and I might not. um, there I'm adding like a big mountain, and those rocks and those lights. Whoa, there this one's pretty cool. Like there is a big ball that I turned red, and I added there. It looks kinda interesting. I might use that sometime. uh, I thought about maybe like animating that big ball that created like this sun, and maybe it's not there and suddenly it appears like a big sun and fills the whole scenery with this red and orange color. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's crazy how with 3D you can create like this gigantic fireball in a second. And it's crazy how it lights up the whole scene and changes the whole vibe of it. So yeah, I might use that ball in the final piece for this. I'm not really sure, but it looks kind of cool, that orange shade that it adds to it. Here I'm trying like a new material for the main creature, which is this kind of flying dragon, um, and swimming fish at the same time. And there I am creating this symbol. I love to create this like symmetric symbols, which there's no like way to read it. This one is actually, it doesn't seem like a language, but a lot of times I use these symbols more of like a language that it's like unknown, and that's a big inspiration from the things that I usually love, which uses kind of languages which you cannot read and understand. I love that concept. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of finishing the session right now, the video which I recorded. Um, yeah. Yeah, that orange lighting really adds another cool dimension. I'm gonna show you right now, like live, how this one, it's this one right here. You can bring it here and it looks so big. It's amazing. Oh, it seems like it lost its material, which I don't know, I think it was 07, but it seems like it's not that one. Well, no problem, you're already seeing it here. Like the colors, you can clearly see how they add really interesting thing. Like here I'm not showing like the sphere, but you can see how this red lighting, for example, like changes everything, and it's really interesting. mm, might use it, might not, but I really want to show these tools to you. I really want to show how this was made. Like how much this video, okay, it's like 1 hour and 10. That's like so little time to create something that looks kind of cool. Of course it's not done, but it's amazing for me, these softwares that we are available to use. And now I created a file inside of Blender with all the creatures that I've used for yh⁴, the collection that I've been talking a lot about. And as I was talking last Monday on on the the Open Studio session, I really want to make it like this fixed chart where I like portray and show the way in which all these creatures from all these different biomes are connected, and show each biome. And so yeah, I was gonna start that. I added all the creatures, and most of them, to this scenery, and I wanted to mainly show you what I feel about each one of it. Also, I realized that, like for me, yh⁴ was about like different biomes from different places, like maybe the jungle and the desert and underwater and stuff. And suddenly I realized that it's mainly about the underwater, and I don't know if that's how I want it to be, but if that's how it comes out of me, then I'm gonna be accepting it. But there's so much stuff underwater. Like I'm gonna share the screen with you. I'm gonna show, because there's this main inspiration for H2 Ghostfish, which is the first piece from yh⁴. Hi Caroline. Um, well, I don't know if you just connected. I've been showing like the process of creating a piece that I recorded, in case someone just entered the chat. This was the thing that I've done. I started out from an AI, and I started sculpting this thing, and I went through that, and I added the sun, and I started creating the scenery. And yeah, I wanted to show you this process, which I honestly did like 2 hours ago, and I created this one, which is like the living creature of the piece. And oh, I forgot about showing you, so I'm gonna use this moment because I forgot of showing you this, which is really interesting and I wanted to show, which is this trick that I used to create like water simulations. mm, Unluckily I won't. Yeah, maybe it is right here. um okay, but it might not, so I will show it right now on Blender. It's a really cool trick to make water simulations. So yeah, this was the piece that I should just showed how I was creating. um oh, I think, yeah, I was sharing the screen, luckily. um, um and that's how it ended. Here's like the big red ball, which I wasn't able to show it in the scene. uh, but yeah, I wanted to show the process of creating this. It was really fun and kind of quick to do it. This might end up being part of yh⁴. And as I was saying, for example, this piece, like maybe I'm trying to do like all these different biomes and stuff, but for some reason it ends up being always related with the underwater world. There's only this piece which is called Sylph, and this one specifically, it is not it. It's like about the air and these beautiful butterflies. And that creature here, I have this scene where I have all the creatures from yh⁴. As I said, at least like living creatures that we can identify as like maybe like animals, because I feel like in my scenes, like most of the things that you see are creatures. If they're not like a mountain or a rock or stuff, they're like creatures, being abstract or not. But all these ones are from different pieces from yh⁴. I'm gonna try to put like the shading so you can see the colors. This one is like really really full of color, so it's kind of noticeable. There it goes. um, Here it is. As you can see, like mainly they all have this underwater feeling, and I love this one. It's like all made like of bones, and I love how it looks. It has like this little eye right here. This one is from H2 Ghost Fish, which I love the concept of that piece, which is like a lot of fishes swimming around, a big plant that is the one that is throwing them like the food and the nutrients that they need. Because I've been making a big research about the abyssal zone, um, and in the abyssal zone, the creatures that live down there, the abyssal zone, I think is one of the most like underwater places. I don't know how much meters down, but it's like really really down in the sea. And these creatures that are in the abyssal zone have no food resources, and they usually take like the food by sucking from the rocks and from stuff, and from some, I'm not sure, but I think it was like some kind of mushrooms that are underwater, that um, that like leave these kind of nutrients by a process that they like kind of explode and leave all the surface of the sea with these nutrients. And these abyssal zone creatures get food from that. I'm gonna check uh, if I can find like an image about the whole sea. But if you, as you can see, here is the abyssopelagic zone, which is like 3,000 to 6,000 meters. And really interesting what might happen in the hadopelagic zone, which is over 6,000 meters and beneath. So yeah, maybe the concept of yh⁴ goes around this, like not only the sea, but I really want to make it underwater. So I might go deeper and deeper into the water. That's yeah, and that it's really fascinating. And for me, like I'm able to create all this fantasy because, as Caroline is saying, um, there's a whole part of the sea that we as humans haven't been able to discover. So it's so much possibilities. I even, when I was younger, I made a big research about mermaids and the possibility of them existing or have existed, and there's a lot of documentaries, and it's really interesting. um, the possibility of these like humanoids in the moment of some evolution, that this group of humans had to go to the water because of maybe some kind of threat that they had in the ground, so they had to adapt to the water. And maybe it was even before, like in the process of going to from monkeys to humans. And yeah, there's a lot of things that might show that this might have existed, like these kind of humans that lived underwater. And yeah, it's really interesting. um, I want to check what Dwayne is asking. Yeah, I would definitely name these creatures. In fact, there's some, even this one specifically has a name, which is Skuna. I'm gonna write it. I love putting names to stuff. It's not necessarily important or relevant or has a meaning, but these one are called skunas. Maybe because they're made out of skeletons. And yeah, I love like uh, the way it looks. This one, for example, it's called Akinia, and these ones are like really really dangerous. That's why in the piece, which is called Underwater Kinias, there's a whale which is escaping from this Kinia. I'm gonna show that piece so you can see what I'm talking about. Although I already showed this piece like a lot of times, I think that it's relevant for me like to make emphasis on each thing so you can also understand all the connections and explanations that this collection has. Here it is, and here it's yh⁴, and this is Underwater Kinias. And as you can see, there's this whale which is going really really fast. This whale might have a specific name too, but I haven't added it yet. And this is the Kinia, the red one, that is swimming like in a threatening way, that it's following the whale. And yeah, these are supposedly like kind of venomous or something. They're definitely dangerous because whales escape from it. And here's like the big whale, which I love the color that it has. Scene is pretty big, so the materials are being like erased, but yeah, there it is. And yeah, I wanted to show this one because it's interesting for me how most of the pieces are related to the underwater, but I luckily made one that it's from the air. So I think there will be in the second season for me of yh⁴, in all the like the second pieces, there will definitely be another piece from the air, which is so important to me, like these butterfly creatures. And I love the sculpt I did for this one. Really really cute. And yeah, this piece is really really important to me. And so, but as you can see, most of it's from the water, so I'm gonna follow that line too. This is another butterfly that it's from yh⁴, and it's from that piece which is called Sylph. And sylphs are also really interesting, and I got into them, and I'm gonna show. I want to check the butterfly like creature. Yeah, it might definitely evolve to a higher form. Definitely, yeah. Any idea that you might have for this collection, or something, you can definitely name it. um I could show the process of maybe creating like this butterfly like creature evolving into a higher form. I'm thinking maybe because it's a really interesting way that and process the way in which butterflies pimps. I don't know how you say it in English. Yeah, but it's really interesting. What is it? Chrysalis? Are you talking about sylphs? Yeah, they might be called chrysalis too, right? But sylph is like this mythologic creature, like from the air. They're kind of fairies, um, but they're like really ethereal. And it's not exactly what we are seeing right now, what I would imagine or what I've seen about sylphs. Maybe if I add like mythology, yeah. But it's like these creatures, I think if we read an imaginary spirit of the air. Like I think when I created this piece, I was reading about that. I have a book that it's around here, which is all about like mythological and ethereal and magical creatures, and it's really inspiring to me. And I was reading about the sylphs, and it's this spirit from the air, so I decided to make a piece out of that. And so yeah, in today we got left 15 minutes, so it won't be today but tomorrow. I'm gonna be showing how I create the music for possibly underwater Kinyas, which is this piece that has the whale and the red fish following behind. I'm gonna be showing the process of making the music, which I'm really excited for. Maybe I might record it before as I did today, so it's not everything made live, because if I do that I'm like always facing the possibility that I am creating something for an hour, and maybe I might erase the whole thing. So it's cool to me to record the session and then show it to you, and also be able to comment about it. I'm gonna show again how this one ended, because I did the in case someone didn't see these, because I showed it at the start of the session. I'm gonna show because I made the sound for this piece that is right here. I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna directly share it and show it to you in the object marketplace, which is this piece. Is the first one out of one, by the way, that I listed on on Tesos, which is this parallel marketplace and coin that I use to mint NFTs. And this is the first one out of one that I made in this platform. I usually make one out of ones on Foundation, but I decided to go for this one, which is a new collection called Mechanical Symbiosis. And this is with the music. I already showed it, but I'm gonna do it again. Yeah, really like how this one ended. Possibly tomorrow it will all be related to music and how I create these music environments. So I will not only be making the music for a piece for yh⁴, I'm gonna also show how I already created some music pieces that I did from some already existing pieces from this collection. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And now I'm gonna continue with the piece that I showed the process. I usually use a lot of objects from the same from different sessions. Like I like recycle my own creatures, and so thinking about this whole collection of yh⁴, I realized that I might do that even to get like more connection between them. I might like use the same creatures that I use in other pieces, and they might appear in different pieces. Here I got like, if I write pez, which pez is fish in Spanish, which is my native language, by the way, as you might notice. So please with me, bear with my English. I hope it's fine. I am right now. I'm getting all these creatures that I got from H2 Ghostfish, and I will try to maybe add one of these to this new piece. I'm thinking about this I don't know how you say it, but manta ray. It might be like that. I love how the like pink color of the sky is reflecting on on the on these creatures. I want to make apply this curve modifier, and let's see how this one looks inside of the piece. Maybe somewhere I might change the color of it, like if I got it here, and I might use it like as an object, as an static object, uh, which might be like a symbol. Yeah, that's beautiful, instantly beautiful. And yeah, I realized that maybe I wasn't permitting myself to recycle in this yh⁴ collection because I want to be really detailed with it. But I realized like even more, if it has to have like a sense and be all connected, it's definitely a great idea to to repeat these subjects. Um, Also, I loved how this whole piece that I created like 2 hours ago started out from this thing that I sculpted after an AI picture that I made with DALL-E. And it's incredible how a little seed can create this whole world, which is actually the way in which this world we're living in was possibly created, like from nothing to something. I love that concept too, and I had it in my mind, and I am creating a piece related to that right now. So yeah, it's really interesting and really inspiring too. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to add this light to make emphasis on this I don't know, like magic objects, and or maybe like fossil. I love how this one right here ended up looking. This one's so watery. It's like, but I like how maybe because within yh⁴ there's definitely like the desert biome. There are some pieces that are already related with the desert, and I feel like this one, it's kind of connected. Like there's sand and water. Well, this, like I added this thing right here, and it added like this texture to the water, which gives a like much more organic feeling. There it goes. So yeah, now with those little additions, it has much more depth. It's definitely manta ray cool. I'm glad that it looks cool to you, Dwayne. I want to check what your, yeah, I definitely can change them slightly, like, so they're closely related species. Yeah, definitely. But for example, in this case, this manta ray in the other piece was like a living manta ray which was like swimming, and in this piece it might be like this static like totem or something. So in these ways they might connect, as you say, maybe not like exactly in the same way, but this will give like so much cohesive things. Even in my music, like when I'm doing music, like a lot of sounds are recycled, and this is usually the way in which artists like create a cohesive feeling within their pieces. Now I'm like feeling the spaces. I think that one goes perfect right there. um, this is all about like, I feel like it's all about like taste in what you feel goes right and what you feel goes wrong. So it's kind of hard and interesting to have like a perspective from the outside on your own pieces. So I usually create something and I come back after a day or two to see what I feel about it. Maybe the way in which I'm seeing this right now really changes tomorrow. Tomorrow I might love it, or I might even erase the whole thing, like literally, which happens to me a lot. So yeah, um, this is how the scene is looking. Um, that's with the big red ball, but whoa. Behind the objects, and these are all the other creatures which I might use, might not. But I actually like how it's looking. Of course, I can't do the animation right now, which is something really interesting. I would like to show you live, but it's something that it's really PC heavy, and it's also like a long process and like a kind of tedious. Um, so I might be able to show you the animation once it's finished. I hope for the sessions of next week I will have this piece finished, and I might show it to you also with the music done and everything. So it might be really interesting to finish a whole piece for yh⁴, uh, and show the process during the residency. And yeah, I'm also kind of really grateful about these sessions and this residency uh, that I'm doing, because it's like connecting me again to this yh⁴ collection, which I lost track of, because it for real like something which means to be like really cohesive needs a lot of discipline and having like constant attention. My my way of feeling things like fluctuates a lot with days, and like my inspirations also. So it's hard for me to maintain that, but thanks to the residency and to this, I'm like getting again uh, the feeling of being connected to the idea of this collection, which still is like something that fascinates me, like creating this whole world, and it is connecting even more. And I'm gonna create this chart like in a more organized way, where you can see like with explanations how these are all connected, um, and how everything is taking shape. I really like the colors of this one. You can also go to the camera and see how actually it's looking without all the other stuff that is around it. So yeah, of course, with the animation and with the music, this gets much more life. Like I usually make pieces uh, that are animated, and if they weren't animated, they wouldn't have so much life. The ones that I make that are still images are already like very very packed of stuff, like the one I showed um, when I started this session, um, which is around here. and it's this one right here, which I was saying is like for me really related to the concept of us being connected and us being made of electricity, and this whole world being made of electricity, and we're all connected within this electricity. And for me, this piece actually doesn't need an animation, or would be like kind of redundant. Um, like it has already like a lot of movement. My idea for yh⁴ uh, is to create these creatures that if they were still they wouldn't have so much life, but as they move they do get this feeling of like being real. But this one already has movement itself, being a static image. And yeah, I really like the how this one ended. It's really interesting for me the way in which my my like my way of creating and the things that I do just go with a flow, that I can then analyze it and see where this is coming from. This piece that is related with electricity, um, it is so related to the things that I was talking about during my last sessions, and I feel like it's unintentionally that I create these things. And when I got the final result, it's like, oh, this means this, which I had in my head these days. So yeah, I feel like art in general and the way in which I use creation uh, is it's for me a way of channeling my emotions and my inspirations. And I never did therapy, uh, and I feel like the times that I went to, I wasn't able to express my emotions, and with my creations I'm like, it's like so healing to me. I just express my emotions in ways that I wouldn't be able to do with words. and and it's also like surprising to me. I like just open myself to do these things, and then suddenly it's completely related to things that I had in my mind, but I maybe wasn't able to put in words. So yeah, it's really interesting. There's a cat knocking the door right now. Yeah, it's almost an hour. I would like to wait if you got any more question, and I will also want to thank for interacting with me during the session, and for being interested about the things that I'm talking about. I hope it's interesting for you too. As I said, tomorrow will possibly be about creating music for yh⁴, which is really, really exciting to me. I want to show you that part of my creations, because up to now, mainly I might have shown the inner part of the 3D software, but not about creating the music. And I really want to show that, because it's actually as important as it is, and as it is with 3D. So yeah, yes, Dwayne, I don't know what you're exactly talking about. With there's so much possibility with this stuff. You might are talking about like 3D software, which yeah, I agree. If you're talking about that, it's incredible. Like it's infinite, the things that you can create. Uh, Yeah, okay, like maybe with yh⁴, yeah, there's so much possibility to it. This might be a collection that might take years for me to develop. Like, I want to create parallel things on the side, but uh, I want to keep on creating like this world and this universe maybe forever, and keep adding these different biomes. And maybe right now I'm with like more on the underwater side, but with time it might go to like different places and different biomes. And so yeah, I will never want to give it a finish, and that's what I'm thinking right now. So I'm just expressing what I'm feeling. um So well, yeah, definitely d3mo jam sesh. For real, I'm really open to hearing all the ideas that you have. As I say with my creations, this is what I create. I pretend it to be like something that belongs to everyone because as I said a lot of times, I take from somewhere that is available for everyone, and it's nature inspiration. So any idea that you might have or feeling that you might have about my collection, I want to hear it. And so thank you very much for contributing. And well, it's already an hour past. Uh, thank to you all, and have a great day or a great night. And I will see you tomorrow in